The first race recap of 2026. This is ASRA at Ozarks. I'm pulling up to the ultra-lightweight superbike race, and Chris is in front of me on a supermoto that's taller than both him and I. I assume he's going to fall over at the start, and the only other bike I'm racing in this one is Daniel Walewski up front to the right, and he is extremely fast on a 400. He's going for the 400 record this weekend. I know he is. He's extremely fast. This is the first time I'm actually shooting video on the Kramer. This is a bike that is still pretty new to me, and me and this bike don't get along yet. I don't understand it yet. Just for a little bit of context on this, you couldn't pick a place to start a more intimidating race weekend. This is the most intimidating track I've ever been to, by far. Daytona doesn't hold a candle to it. Say something like Road America, nothing. This is the most intimidating racetrack I've ever been to. The amount of elevation that you go through in a single lap, it doesn't show through the camera. It's like 1,400 feet of elevation change in a single lap. And there's so many blind corners, and the storm rolled in the night before. And the practice day was about 85 degrees, and we are 45 degrees and trying to figure out how to keep heat in these tires. There's also, in a couple of the turns, because there's so much water in the ground, there's a bunch of water weeping out, specifically in, I think it's turn 6, and then especially on turn 14. These aren't excuses for why I'm not going faster. This is just the fact of it, that I know I'm not going to try to set a terribly fast lap this race. But one thing I did want to do is get a good start on this, because I know Daniel is going to run away from me, but I want to try to keep up as long as I can to just try to, oh God.
I just had to ruin this for you. Doing so good.
You're on screen right now. I just want to try to keep, well, that's you, that's right. You're holding the fucking flag.
Oh, are you right there?
Yeah, no, you're right there. Yeah, that's you.
Look how good it looks.
Get out of here. So I want to keep up with him as long as I possibly can to try to learn something. So I need a good start here. Starts have actually turned into a strength for me on my SV. Not on the Kramer. You're also launching uphill on this track, which doesn't help, but honestly, I don't know how to launch this bike. Something I got to start doing is actually powering into the first corner with some authority. A little bit rattled by the fact I wheelied it, and I can just know in my head already that he's just going to go and run away from me. But the good news is he didn't actually just run away too badly from me. I ended up finishing this race only about 2 seconds behind him. Something I learned a lot about actually the next turn coming up here. Once we get, I think this is 4. Turn 5 has been a big struggle point for me on this, and through the course of this race, I ended up looking at how differently Daniel was running it compared to what I was doing, and I, through this race, ended up changing my line quite a bit, and man, it ended up paying dividends the next day. This track is, oh, actually right here, that's not shade, that's water that's coming across there. So that's another thing where I'd probably run that a little bit differently, but you're trying to get as much like up and down braking, because it's just in my head, I don't want to wash the front out. So watching footage back from this is making me a little bit sore. So I bought a new GoPro for this, and I was really excited to watch the playback from the following day when we were actually able to get on it a little bit more. And I ended up getting down to like a 142.8, which I'm happy about. I get home and I watch the video. I'm like, it's one of those things. I always hate watching my own video, because it's like you can see all these places that you wish you would have gone faster. So turn 11 there had a bunch of water in it, and I never felt comfortable actually getting onto the power through turn 14, so I was always cutting it tight in, and I think that was the right choice. This Saturday race day was never going to be a day where I was going to push too hard, but I wanted to go out and try to learn something from people that were better than me. So yeah, talking a bit about this track, it's a fairly new track, 2022 I think it opened. I think the first bike race was last September, so I was at this. This wasn't my first time at this track. but there is no more intimidating track that you can go to. I mean, outside of if you went to like some road course or something where there's literally, you know, walls, Isle of Man, TT style or something like that. You just can't see through these turns. And I hate to say it, the video just does not do justice to the amount of different forces that you're feeling and how quickly things come up that you can't see. And then you watch it back on video and you're like, I could have been going through there like 5 to 8 miles an hour faster than that. So at this point of the race, I'm really, really damn excited to still see Walewski in front of me. I'm pretty sure, I know he's gunning to get into the 140s this weekend. So seeing us run, you know, high 44s lets me know that it's all right that I'm being a little bit cautious because there's a much better rider in front of me who's capable of going a lot faster, who's also having some of the same reservations about the track conditions and whatnot. So there is water on the outside of this, so most of us are trying to keep it tight to the inside of it instead of running it out, and it means you kill your drive. And then this turn one should be so fast. The penalty for missing that turn one is so great. Not in a lap time thing. I'm saying if you run that thing too fast and you blow right through it, man, the ride off into the dirt, unfortunately, it ended one of the guys' weekends that I traveled down with, and which really sucked because I was really looking forward to seeing Chuck try to drive his lap time down as far as possible. Everybody's going to try to drive a lap time down, but Chuck was going to be on it, trying to push for a middleweight lap record. Would he have gotten there? I don't know, but I know he was going to try to figure it out if he could. So I think we're on the last lap here of ultralightweight superbike. I'm just thrilled to still be able to see Daniel at this point. Going back and watching this footage, there's so many things I can tighten up. I haven't yet learned really anything about the bike setup on this. I have not touched a single dial since I got the Kramer, and I'm running on, well, this is the third race weekend for the Pirelli tires I have on here. There's just no point in me switching the tires. The tires aren't something that's holding me back. It's my throttle hand and my brake that are holding me back. So I'm not running against any other individual. I'm trying to run as quickly as I can with the bike I have under me and figure out how to ride this thing faster. This bike is so much more capable than I am that trying to throw money at the thing to get a half second quicker isn't going to get me anywhere. So that's another terrible start, but apparently I got past somebody. So this is on the same day. This is kind of like right after. I think this is ASRA Thunder bike, and we're combined with ASRA Super Sport. They combine a fair amount of grids, which I appreciate ASRA doing to try to keep things rolling. So there's a fair amount of 600s in this race. This one was really useful for me because one of the guys that was staying with us, one of the guys on the Team Shocker team, and then another one of the guys that was staying with us. I did so badly on that turn, I didn't even want to show any more of that. So, all right, there was a red flag. Now we're on restart. So I ended up following behind Derek and Matthew in this race, and both of them are on 600s. And why this one was really useful for me is so Matthew gets by me there. Derek is the one in front of him. Why this one was really useful for me is that I was able to run with Derek, and I'm able to run up on him in several spots. Derek and I were struggling with different parts of this track. So we talked about it. I showed him some of this video, and I was like, Derek, if you clean up these 2 to 3 spots, and mainly it was about him just breaking deeper into 2 areas. If he did that, he was going to easily run 43s, probably 42s. I needed that carrot the next day if I was going to actually get to where I wanted to get, which was I wanted to be able to run a 43 this weekend. So in the ASRA Thunderbike race number 2, which also got combined with Super Sport, I get out behind him exactly like I thought it was going to start. I'm riding with him, and all of a sudden he's breaking way deeper into those 2 spots, and the other one here is into the chicane. So I'm probably going to catch him quite a bit because it was one of the slow spots. He cleaned that up quite a bit the next day. The other one was the whatever the little rumble strip thing is between 5 and 6. And so he started running 43s, and I missed a shift in turn 2 on one of the laps. And I was like, ain't no fucking way I'm losing this guy. I want to stay with the carrot. And I got that little bit of motivation to go try to catch him. And I ended up running a 42, which is quicker than I wanted to run. And then I watch this and I'm like, why are you running so slow? So maybe that's something you're always going to think when you're racing is, you know, how can I go faster? Because I watch this and I just think there ain't no way I would go back to this track and be content with running less than a 40. So a good start to the year. Results-wise, time-wise, probably not exactly where I want to be, but confidence-wise, you get thrown to the wolves by going to what is to me the spookiest track on the circuit. First time I haven't sat on a bike since Daytona last year, and you know, you got to relearn. You got to figure out which side the throttle's on, where's the clutch, where's, you know, how do you shift a bike and all that kind of stuff. You know, all that being said, I want to be hard on myself for this weekend, but no, I'm not going to let myself. Not after this one. I brought it home. In one piece. Had a good time. Actually, had a great time with everybody on the team, everybody at the track. I saw a whole bunch of people that, you know, you just get back to the track and you get all excited, and a lot of the winter blues start to wash away. And now I'm jacked to the tits about getting to Blackhawk in when are we? First weekend of June. Now we do got one big thing before that is Team Shaka Racing. We will be at Road America. We've got 3 bikes that we want to put into the show, and not only put into the show, we got 3 bikes that I think we can make top 15 with all 3 of them. So I'm excited to be a crew chief one more time, and then the week after that, it's Blackhawk for the new pavement. ASRA says they have the streaming service. They're going to have the cameras there for that June weekend. So if you're not able to make it in person, put the stream on. I watched the CMP race. Christy was working on painting. I was working on the bikes the whole weekend. We just had CMP stream up the whole time. It was awesome. So I want to thank ASRA and everybody for putting this event out at Ozarks. If you haven't been here, maybe you heard some shit. I mean, you can see this. It's ridiculous. But if you've never been there before, this is one of the coolest motorcycle experiences you can ever have, actually running on this track. So, I don't know. We will figure out how to bring some times down and get competitive at Blackhawk. I will figure out how to race a motorcycle, and I will figure out how Kramer works. And I've got some SV work to do this year too. So you watched this far. Thanks for watching.